Hey guys, it's C. Welcome to another segment of the Student Athlete Live interview series. Before we get started, let me just recap what it is that we're trying to do here with this series. We are trying to give student athletes across the country a way to get their voices and their stories heard here on our platform. So today we're going to start with Caranda, who I will add in just 1 second, and we'll get started. Hey.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on? How was your day?
Pretty good. It's nice outside today, so I was outside a little bit with my family.
Got you. So just to start off, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. My name's Caranda Perea. I'm an incoming sophomore at Temple, and I'll be attending that in the fall and playing basketball there.
Got you. And just to start off with the basics, how old were you when you started playing basketball?
I think I was around 4, like when I started playing with like a little Tykes basketball hoop, but organized basketball, I think 6 or 7.
6 or 7. And what got you into it?
Um, no one in my family plays basketball, but I would wake up really early and the only channel I knew was ESPN. So I would just watch basketball. And then I asked my mom if I could play, and she's so supportive. So she was like, "Oh, of course." And I just really fell in love with it.
Got you. Did you play any other sports or was basketball your only one?
Um,
Oh no, I think we lost you. Let me see if I can invite you again.
sorry, I have no idea what happened. Okay.
Cool, you're back. It's all good.
Okay. I played soccer. So I
Soccer.
played soccer growing up. I did play volleyball for 6 months. But soccer was definitely like one of my main sports, and I was pretty good, I would say.
Got you. Do you think playing soccer helped you in basketball, like any of those skills that you had to learn for soccer? Do you
Yes, I was a goalie, so because I'm so tall. But
think?
yeah, it definitely helped with my timing and being able to block shots. That was like my main thing when I started playing basketball, and I think that stemmed from soccer. And then with time, I got better in different areas.
Got you. And you said that nobody else in your family plays basketball. So who really inspired you growing up?
Actually, I know it's cliche. I know my teammates said this too. Kobe.
Mm.
I have a whole like when I was just watched tons of videos of him and watched him play, and I just like fell in love with him and how he played. And like obviously when he died, it sucked. And I got a whole like piece of him on my arm, so he definitely my inspiration. For
Wow. And how do you think um, what's the word? How do you think you inhibit that Kobe mentality, that Mamba mentality in what you do?
I think just like being tough, mentally tough, and trying to persevere through hard times. I think everyone went through a really hard time with COVID this year. So just trying to remember, like, it does get better, and just like keep grinding in everything that you do in your life. Like, try to be the best at everything.
Got you. And what made you decide that you wanted to play in college and take that next step?
Um, I honestly, I've always wanted to. It wasn't really it was kind of a no-brainer for me. Like I think, when I was younger, I used to say I want to play professional basketball. So I understood that college for me was kind of like a no-brainer. I always thought, oh yeah, of course I'll make it. So, and I did, thank goodness, and I love it.
Got you. And you started out at George Washington, and now you're going into Temple. So what was that choice to move to Temple like?
Um, it was, the transfer process is definitely a lot different than I thought it was. It's not as like easy as it is being recruited in high school. Like it's not as fun. So I would say it was a challenging process trying to figure out where I wanted to go. And I had so many great people in my life who supported me, including my previous coaches at GW. They helped me out a lot, and just talked to Temple. And I really like, the opportunity there. I have a lot of family near Philly as well. So for me, it was kind of just like, this feels right. And I had a lot of people supporting me, and they helped me out to help me make the right decision.
Got it. And you mentioned the recruitment process. What was that like for you leaving high school?
I committed early. So I committed when I was in 10th grade,
Okay.
after 10th grade, so going into 11th. And before that, I was talking to coaches all the time. And I really enjoyed it, but I was so ready to just like have a home very early. So I committed early. So I didn't really experience it, my 11th grade year or even senior year. I knew where I was going. And I liked that because I really loved my coaches and I loved the school. So everything just felt right.
Got you. So looking back, you wouldn't change the fact that you committed so early?
No, I wouldn't. I did at one point after it happened, I was like, oh, maybe I did it too early. And but I especially now, I just learned so much my first year there, and I developed so many great relationships that I'm so grateful for that opportunity that I had. And I'm so grateful that I did choose to go there because I don't think I would have wanted it any other way because I just learned so much.
Got you. And talking about this transfer from George Washington to Temple, obviously that's a big, not a huge location difference, but it is a big change in academics and the way that things are ran. So how are you adapting to that change going into next year?
I think, academic wise, GW it's pretty up there. So I think I'll be able to adapt well to academics. And I think location was a big thing. I did want to be in a city after being in DC. So I think that I'm more excited to be in another city. So I think all around, I'm ready for the process to change and for me to insert myself into Temple. And I've just, like I said, I was prepared so much. Like I already lived in a city. GW is pretty high academically, so I feel like my transition will be pretty smooth.
Got it. And moving out of this year, obviously with the pandemic, things were a lot different. What was playing in a pandemic like for you?
It was hard. I didn't think it was gonna be as tough as it was. Um, they want to keep you safe, so we had a lot of restrictions and rules, and no matter what, it's very hard mentally to go through that. Um, but I think, and I also got COVID during the season, so it was like a double whammy. I have to do all these rules, and then it's like, oh, I get it.
Mhm.
And I just think it did hinder my college experience. I never got to experience GW what it's like normally. I don't know what a normal basketball season is. I didn't have as many games. I was sick for part of it. So I would definitely say, like, yes, I learned a lot from COVID, but I would never want to go through that again.
Got it. And I know you mentioned when we talked before leading up to this about your favorite memories. A big part of that was the team that you were with when you won the AAU tournament and that idea of like team culture and friendship. So can we talk about that a little bit?
My AAU team, I started playing with them when I was in 6th grade. So I didn't move around. I stayed at one team, and all those girls were the same girls. Obviously, new people came in, people left, but really the same core people were there. So I just developed so many true friendships, like real family. People on teams are always like, oh, 1, 2, 3 family. That's probably the first time I've ever experienced the real family. I'd go over to their houses, and I was actually just with all of them yesterday at a whole get together. So I think that just showed me what good winning culture is as well, because my coach was very tough, but we just found so much love in his way that he coached us. So like when people coach me hard now, I see it as like, oh, you care about me enough to coach me hard, to push me. I don't see it like an attack on me. So I definitely learned so many valuable things. I'm so grateful for my friendships.
Got you. And heading into this new team, obviously you haven't been able to connect as well as you might have liked to at this point with the rest of Temple's team. What are your hopes like going into that new environment and that new space?
I think I'm excited to meet new people. I don't know really anyone there. Uh, they all seem like very nice. The coaching staff is great, so I know that they're really gonna help me out, and just they wouldn't put me in a situation that I wouldn't be able to thrive in. I think I'm very excited, and I think just meeting new people and just having it happen naturally, just like talk to them, get to know them, and I think with time, we'll all develop very good friendships.
Got you. And what would you say is the hardest part about being a student athlete in college to you?
Um, Honestly, time management, and that's what everyone says to you when you're in the recruitment process. And I thought I'd be fine, but you just realize you do a lot. Yes, you're in school and you're in basketball, but there's a lot of other things that you do. Especially our season was, season is a bigger than basketball, so we did so many things outside. We were learning so much that I never realized how time consuming it was. I think that's the hardest thing of being an athlete, but hopefully after my first year, I'll be able to get it going a little bit easier.
Got you. And what would you give as a piece of advice to your younger self going into your college career for the first time?
That's a great question. Um, I would say just be yourself. Just everyone, just be yourself and don't forget how you got there. Everyone works so hard to get there. Everyone who's there deserves to be there. So just don't forget that. I think that would be the biggest advice I'd give to anyone, especially myself, that you deserve to be there. No matter if you have a bad day at practice, because there are days that you're like, oh, I don't know if I should be playing college basketball. Just remember, you put in the work and you deserve to be there.
Of course. And one final question for me, just that I like to ask for fun. But who is your favorite WNBA player right now?
I would say Brianna Stewart, because I've always wanted to be like her. And also I watched her play in college. I saw her play in the Final Four, and I always wanted to emulate her game because she's tall and she can shoot, put the ball on the floor, and that's everything I wanted to be. And she's so good. So I would definitely say that's my favorite.
Of course, very understandable choice. But that's all of my questions for now. If you have anything else you would like to say to
No,
everyone.
I think we're good. I appreciate everyone being here, and I appreciate you having me on.
Of course, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Everyone should check you out and support Temple in this upcoming season. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Memorial Day.
All right, thank you. You as well.
No problem.
See ya.